to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Brock's been beaten. The result that's come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba.
Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brilliante on the other side of the glass. JP doing a great job. 850-623-1330 is the number to be part of the show here today. Well, 2020 has been a crazy year, and we understand that. But we also want to bring up the facts that there's been some crazy stories in football. There's been crazy stories in life, like Glenn Allen Hill having to miss a whole entire season for having a dream about a spider. Arachnophobia. Pretty crazy movie back in the 90s before all this digital. And ran through a glass table, shattering his hand, cutting himself up, and missed the entire season for dreaming about a spider. Marty Cordova missed 2 weeks for falling asleep in a tanning bed. He was in a tanning bed. He plays baseball. He's one of those Rico Suave guys. Hey, and fell asleep in a tanning bed. Had to tell his teammates, which Greg Linton and I joke about. That would not be a fun day in the locker room. 6'4", 230 brawny guy. What happened to you? Yeah, third-degree burns in a tanning bed. Don't think I'm doing this. We need to realize at this point, though, that we can go out there and it's going to be one of these kind of things that we need to understand. 2020 is not going to be a normal year, but there's been crazy stories other times. So we're going to have some fun comparing 2020 stories to stories in the history of sports. Like a guy who was struck by lightning in the eighth inning, shook off the cobwebs, which was a lightning bolt, and went on to pitch a complete game. Those stories right there. Next time your kid, my fingers hurt. And you go, yeah, your grandpappy. Imagine that family. Imagine living up to expectations after that guy. You know, my back hurts. Oh, yeah. Well, grandpappy got struck by lightning on a field and then struck out the side, you brat. Be like, oh, I don't want ice cream. Like, you just at that point, there's no going back. You can't live up to that. JP, there's been some crazy moments. What's one that is there something that you remember, even in a game, even in something, and there's been many, Manti Te'o getting catfished, literally. That was a crazy story for a guy that was celebrated, into Lene Kakua. She's in here with us today. Or watching guys like Tiger Woods, the legend, the icon, getting chased and running into a tree because his wife, his Swedish model wife, is chasing at him during Thanksgiving like a turkey with a 7-iron. Things like that. We have seen things that have been crazy. Or OJ driving down a road in a white Bronco not to pick up groceries. It's been crazy. Is there one that always sticks out to you when you talk about the crazies of life when it comes to sports?
Well, there's two. One, I vaguely remember one that I read about, and I put it in my ridiculous facts that we had before, was a guy that, now there's multiple reports of this, whether that means it's true or not, I don't want to make that very clear, but the guy that basically came up and had to use an axe and then split the ball in half of it went over the fence for a home run, and the other guy caught the other half, but they said it was half a run. They won 2.5-2 in the extra innings there. That was like in the 1800s. I don't know. I've seen actual like reports where people wrote about it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not going to say that that's 100% true. I don't know.
You do these every week. They're good. If people haven't heard, JP does the crazy things that have happened in sports this week in sports history. And I actually sat in my car the other day. I was getting gas, and you learn before you blow yourself up not to have the car on when you're getting gas. Those people that do that. Saw a guy doing that, and I actually got in the car and left at like a half a tank because I didn't want to be part of that explosion. Like, turn your car off. You can turn the engine off and listen to the music if you got the wife and the kids. I'm not condoning that, but leaving the car running while you get gas will get everybody there blown up. Like, that should not be a PSA. We should have to warn that guy doing. But we were sitting there and listening to the ones you were talking about, that and the pigeon shooting one being an Olympic sport. There's been a lot of crazy.
Well, the ones this week are funny just because, Gordie Howe, I didn't know this, but he suffers from cryophobia, which is the extreme fear of cold and ice. And yet he was a hockey legend. So, you talk about facing your fears. There's no better way to face your fears than be a hockey player and being afraid of cold and ice. The grass at Wimbledon was kept 2 inches long until 1949 when an English player was bitten by a snake.
Yeah.
You got to watch out for those snakes, I guess.
Nolan Ryan not one person on a baseball field could take out Nolan Ryan, but a coyote bit him in the leg and he was out 2 weeks. Think about that.
What about this one? A man in Mississippi was imprisoned for sorcery in 1884 after throwing a curveball at a county fair.
That was my nickname, the Sorcerer, with that curveball that I used to.
He was briefly imprisoned for sorcery for throwing a curveball at the county fair.
That's. Well, first off, though, why are you throwing? But why are you throwing a curveball at the fair? You need to.
Hey, if you can throw a curveball, look, he's a wizard apparently.
Was he doing it when he was trying to? Was it the milk carton game?
I don't know, maybe.
Because in the milk carton game, you can throw a fastball, and those things aren't falling. Justin Patrick and I walked over during. We were over at the fair, and we got done with the show, and we walked over and we were throwing it, and those things just hit and come ricocheting back at you. Like, you could come up there with like a linebacking squad. Luke Kuechly could run those things over, and he's going to get pushed back. So that curveball, that's
the biggest one that's
the key, sorcery.
That I'll remember is Randy Johnson hitting the bird. That's always the weirdest thing in the world. And then getting death threats from people from like PETA and stuff about killing an animal like that. That's probably the one that the weirdest thing, but I thought was the coolest thing in history. Yet he got death threats over it. Like, this guy is, first off, Randy Johnson's not a guy that you want to really come after. Just a crazed-looking individual. Second, he throws the ball 100 miles an hour with a goofy-looking release. Third, he has pinpoint accuracy. And four, he's pitching. Like, he didn't say, okay, bird's coming in. All right, let's throw it now. Got him. I just, to hear after all that's said and done, he's getting death threats from people. Get alive, PETA. Get alive.
And we're going to have some fun opening up the phones for you guys at 850-623-1330. And just pretty much at this point, having some fun. 2020, we know, has been crazy. Unless you are a diehard Bundesliga soccer fan in Germany. Joe's listening. He's like, yes, I was there before you guys. Before that team that you picked that wears sandals with socks. That's their thing. That also won't get you a date, but apparently maybe if you have a woman in sandals and socks too, then it's a good look. You know that guy walking on campus with like long socks and sandals immediately. It's not one woman. Even if he looks like a Channing Tatum, like, something's wrong with that dude. But when it comes down to Bundesliga, NASCAR, and right now currently UFC fighting, even though a lot of those are already popular sports in America, it's a niche sport. And what I mean by that is there are people that will go from football to basketball, baseball because they're major sports, and hockey. And hockey even sort of has its own following, but it's one of the major. But you have a lot of hockey fans that aren't fans of the other sports, where baseball, basketball, and football, especially baseball and football, but baseball, basketball, and football you're going to be a fan of those teams in your markets, and you're going to go from the spring to the summer to the fall to the winter and watch your teams. For NASCAR, I've been a sports fan my whole life, got into this business, spent 15 years around it, working everywhere, and I only will watch a NASCAR event when it was either in my town or it wasn't taking up time from that other Sunday event. Tiger Woods on a final, just like golf and tennis and everything else. Right now, though, with all that being said, there's a lot of other downtime to get into more of these other stories that have been happening. And literally what's happening around the news has been crazy. And I couldn't be more proud of the way Pensacola and the way they handled over the last couple weeks. But But we're going to have some fun here today, talking about all the stories, getting into some of what's happening right now currently with Major League Baseball, where the NBA, where we see the NFL or college football seasons. We don't have all the answers. Greg Harris will join us coming up tomorrow on the show, the owner of the Ice Flyers, as he has some news on the future with the Ice Flyers and going forward. Some good news. And he put his own money into helping. And we're going to talk to him coming up on the show as well. But, you know, it's going to be one of these kind of things. The Blue Wahoos, we know at this point, their players are going to receive, it looks like, stipend and benefits through August 31st. So this is a big thing because let's face the facts in life. As long as you're getting paid, it's easy to make comfortable decisions. The second those athletes don't see a dime in their bank account, they're going to have to start doing some things. I mean, they might be like...
They make $400 a week, so, I mean, it's not...
KBO is going to have to up their game from 3 foreigners, which are Americans.
I mentioned it Monday that there was 5 teams that were going to pay their players throughout, and, the Twins being one of them. I believe the Reds were one other. I think it was last night, the Nationals had originally said that they weren't, and then they turned around and said they will. So, I mean, it's good news. And listen, for people talking about these guys only make $1,200 a month, and just think about that for a minute. And I understand now, of course, they're probably doing other things, trying to make some extra money, but it's not easy for people that have been in the minor leagues. I have friends that have been in there and are there now. It's not easy. You make AAA, you start making a little more money. And look, Greg knows this. We talked to Greg Litton before. He knows all about this and how the grind. These guys are making more money now than they used to. Let's be honest. But it's not easy. You make that big league check. Yes, that's all well and good. But how long can you stay there? And it's just for these so many minor league athletes in there, $1,200 a month. I mean, it's insane to try to live off of that. Luckily here for the Blue Wahoos, it's been so glorious to see so many people take these guys in, give them a home, feed them, take care of them, give them what they need. So these guys can go and just focus on going out and playing baseball, because think about putting that in a perspective of life. You got $1,200, you got to find a room, you got to find food, because you're not always getting fed by the team. Not feeding you all the meals all the time. And go out and live your life and be able to take care of yourself and go out and play at the highest level in AA. I just think about that. For $1,200 a month, it's not easy.
No.
You go to GNC one time, you can spend that kind of money. Just saying. It's true.
Yes, you can.
But I will say, once again, I want to make it clear that the people that we have here for the Blue Wahoos that take some of these guys in,
have you spent $1,200 at GNC?
No. Lifetime? Oh, yes, lifetime, for sure.
Well, no, you can get 1 or 2 supplements, and you're hitting the 3s. I understand that. Right now, I'm not taking any. The NO Explode would be the worst thing. That would be my...
the worst regardless.
Well, but
even if you
right
are
now,
healthy,
currently, I would be like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, it would explode your heart. No, but no, it's
got me off the couch to lift. I'll tell you that much.
It's cool because there's a waiting list to house these players for the Blue Wahoos. I just think that's so cool. And then you see these players go in here, and some of them, remember, Dominican Republic, they're from other countries, wherever, maybe not used to the customs. They get drafted, they come in here, and these guys, they're treated like family. I just think, in a time with everything going on right now, God, it's just so good to see. There's so many good stories.
Right now, the NBA model is for 22 teams, and the season would be starting on July 31st in Orlando, right there. Disney World should be open out there. Get to hang out with Dumbo and
Goofy.
That's who I think of first, always. Dumbo and Goofy. Dumbo and Goofy. There's no Mickey or Minnie here. It's Dumbo and Goofy.
Get him out of here.
And do not get him out of here. He can fly me home. Fly me right back. Don't even have to pay for a cab. Social distance up in the sky. July 31st in Orlando, a timeline shared with, at this point, all the way up until the finals would be Game 7, which would land on October 12th. So pretty much you would have the month of, at this point, it's really August, September, and October, 22 format that would end up getting all the way to the championship. It's a lot more basketball, like I said. I'm not going to get the heart rate going today, but I'm not a big fan of adding more playoff teams.
Scions,
But I understand what they're doing. I would love to. Some of my favorite games, though, are what?
Whoever's driving by, it's got that.
Oh, he's at that base.
Got that base system in there.
Probably my neighbor.
If anybody lives building here,
anybody lives off of Summit right there off of where I live, 1 o'clock, some neighbor I waited by the window to see. I'm that old man now that is waiting there.
Get your flashlight.
Like
wave it at him.
I'm Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino now. Get off my lawn. Like, it's gotten to that point, but this guy's way too loud. I'm that dude now. I used to have a stereo system like this. Guy's annoying though. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got kids too. I don't have time for the pay. Looking at the Game 7 though, October 12th would be the end date. That really wouldn't mess with too much. But remember, you are also. Do you think at this point though we're going to be in a society where, let's say football does come back in September, our people are just going to be so happy to see sports that they're going to be watching everything? You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like right now, like,
yes.
I still, even though we still have time with the family, on a Sunday, I will tape a game with Bayern Munich in the morning and also a NASCAR event and go back and watch them, because I know if it's not that, I'm not going to see reruns of The Last Dance, or we know Lance Armstrong at this point is not the greatest person, but he did get one heck of a tip in Uber. Research that. But it gets to a point where any sport, anything that's happening, we will be watching. But you might have a flow of baseball, basketball, PGA Tour majors that never have been at that time, because the season in golf ends when around September, October. The main tournaments have already been played during April with the Masters, during the summer with the U.S. Open and Open Championship, and the PGA is the last one. But by the time you get to the fall, all those tournaments are done. Most of them are the Tour Championships or those foreign tournaments or those, tournaments in the mountains before it gets cold, but none of them are the main tournaments. You're going to have major sporting events in golf, NBA, MLB, NFL, and possibly college football, and NHL, all at the same time. And not just the start of the season, where if you have to pick between watching a college football Saturday game and watching a summer league basketball game between the Magic and the Pacers, you now might be watching could be an LSU-Alabama game, which those people are picking that game regardless, but you might be watching LSU-Alabama versus somebody like a NBA matchup between the Lakers and Clippers. You see what I'm saying? And that could be – a lot of people are going to have to pick and choose as sports fans. It's going to be crazy. We don't even know if any of them are going to happen at this point.
DVR it.
DVR them all at once.
All of them.
Way to be a family man, right? Sorry, sweetie. I'm going to be out for about the next 4 months with sports. Trying to get all that. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the craziest things that have happened in sports, and we'll talk some more NFL, as the NFL says camps only at team facilities will go on at this point. So don't expect to get the cameras out taking pictures with Bill without Tom.
Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team, we will get through these difficult times. And together, we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home to hometown sports, covering the biggest high school games. UWF football, catching every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Plus, local sports commentary with the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. And weekend sports talk with Davis Allen and Justin Patrick on the Sports Call. We are local. We are ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1. Why go to the pharmacy when the pharmacy can come to you? Gulf Breeze Apothecary offers free delivery to customers in Gulf Breeze and Pensacola Beach. Got questions with medications or COVID-19? Just give them a call and they'll be glad to help you. If you need a mask or hand sanitizer, they have that too. Along with free delivery, they have a drive-thru and a mobile app for easy refills. Gulf Breeze Apothecary, right across from Andrews Institute.
Hey, seafood lovers, Shannon's Seafood Kitchen is open with dining inside and outside as well as touchless curbside pickup. The best catfish this side of the Mississippi, homemade gumbo, jumbo fried shrimp, hand-rolled Filipino-style lumpia, po' boys piled high with fresh seafood, coastal fried flounder, and fresh mullet every day. They continue to take precautions for your safety whether you dine in or take out. Open Tuesday through Saturday at 11, 7000 Pine Forest Road, or call 941-1982. Shannon's Seafood Kitchen.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk. The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante.
Some athletes don't want to be given... nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as it gets older, one of the most embarrassing things... My daughter's 3. I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Locally right now, some of the things happening, well, Greg Harris and I talked today, and he said that the Ice Flyers at this point have agreed to terms extending out to 2024, the 2025 season, with 2 one-year options. It's the longest contract they've ever had.
Was that the good news he was going to deliver tomorrow? You blew his cover?
Well, no, he doesn't. No. Listen.
You said he had some good news.
He did, but here's the thing. No. But here's the thing with that. Okay. First off, though, I think this is now public. I think like the P&J, I'm sure he called Eric.
I haven't seen
Maybe
the
he did.
P&J
Maybe
yet.
he just called me. Maybe this was just a chat. But okay, so afterwards we get into other conversations because Greg and I are friends. And then I said, do you mind coming on today at 5:15? He says, can't, but we'll do it tomorrow. See, I am that guy. If you know what, you're making me feel bad, man. But I am the guy that, like, if our anniversary for Brittany is like 2 months out and I get that gift, I procrastinate actually for reasons sometimes. That's also a cop-out and a lot of crap. But I procrastinate on that because if I buy something 2 months in advance, like in a matter of 2 days, she has that gift. I'm like, I can't wait. Here it is. Like that dog in that commercial. It's bacon. Dogs don't really know. This is one of these kind of things where with this, by him saying tomorrow, and I've got the news in front, and we got nothing in sports happening, so local, this isn't break anyway. He's just pretty much telling people that the Ice Flyers are going to be around.
Whatever makes you feel better.
I didn't. There's more to that.
That makes you feel better.
There's more text.
That makes you feel better.
There's more text to
Just
that.
saying.
Didn't break.
Look, we do have this is depressing. We do have something to talk about because the XFL is going to be auctioned August.
Yeah, at Sotheby's, right?
We'll have no, I wish. But we'll have somebody that owns. There's tons of people. Apparently, there's dozens of people that are interested in buying the XFL. I don't know if Vince McMahon or whatever is going to be one of them, but
Arnold and Sylvester Stallone. Oh my
dear Lord, no.
Why not?
I want this to work.
Rocky. Every time they score,
let them buy NXT or something from WWE. No. The reason I bring that up is because Steve Spurrier he wants to coach the Florida team. He came out and said, listen, I mean, if they want to offer it to me, I'll definitely take it.
Yeah,
so better than Mark Trestman, I guess.
Well,
just saying. He's coaching the Vipers.
Insert human.
Well, remember, his team, the Apollos, won the AAF. Well, and I know they only went 8 weeks, but they were 7-1, so they claim champions. That's what they do in Orlando.
That's what we do, yeah.
Just saying.
But you have to have yourself on a path to claim it. Like this year,
they were the best team, so that
we lost to Tulsa on national TV, and I'm not claiming crap. We did win the cheerleading competition. We are the champions of cheerleaders, even though Kentucky was doing abysmal things with theirs. We We were able to win it this year. That's the news I knew you wanted to go down the path with the XFL. That's why we were segueing into UCF winning the national title in cheerleading.
You know, it's funny.
That's a fact.
It's funny
that's
for
not
me
a parade fact. That's a fact.
That
huge.
I
news.
talked to a friend of mine that he used to work out with me here, but he works for American Airlines over in Tulsa, and I asked him, I was like, hey, how's everything going over there? It was great, whatever. We were just talking about sports in general, and I was like, yeah, the guy I work with, big UCF guy. He goes, you're kidding. I was like, no. He goes, well, that was one of the times when he was over there or whatever. He saw the game. He actually went to the game, and he was like, bro, that's great. That was a great game. I'm like, yes, I'll be sure to deliver them. I forgot about that, but I'm glad you reminded me.
Thank you there. Doctor's orders. The stress levels so appreciate working with you. I'm going to go ahead and step out of the.
We're going to talk some more UCF football.
Right now, we've talked about it, but at this point, Governor DeSantis expects a full high school football season. This was brought up over the weekend. The words, you got to be key with today, words like breaking and also words like expects. I expect Tom Brady to have a good season. It's not a guarantee in anything. Now, he is the governor that has a lot more control than me randomly saying something irrelevant from how Tom wakes up in the morning. But expecting a full high school football season does not mean that we are definitely having a full high school season. We should be on a path to having a full high school season, and local counties will make decisions based upon that. Like what's happening in Orlando and Miami for the FHSAA is completely different than what might happen up here. Now, there's a lot of people and a lot of boardrooms, because I remember my dad lived that life. We played high school sports, all that growing up, but not everybody is going to be on the exact same page on this. And
yeah, but I don't think everybody has to be. I think it's important he comes out and says that, because for the people that can go work out, they're going to start to, I think, next week.
Yeah.
Start conditioning and things like that. I think it's good, and if you can't, go for it. It's the same thing as, listen, if Orlando, they can't play high school sports, but they can everywhere else, why shouldn't they be able to?
I think at this point, watching the news,
that's where I think it's important to look at.
Groups of 10,000 people, we should be able to play anything. After watching what I'm seeing, unless somebody wants to get on there and not talk about the riot, but go, has anybody noticed there's like 4 masks and 10,000 people gathering near this target? Like, if we're not going to notice that, then we shouldn't have a problem with.
For DeSantis, though, he can't say we are going to have one, because anything can happen at this point.
Yeah.
But I think it was great that he came out, because it's, again, I say this all the time on Talk Football, it costs you nothing to be positive. It's so easy to be negative in times. It's all we see is negativity, negativity, negativity. It literally does nothing for you to be positive about something. Doesn't mean it's going to have to. It doesn't mean it has to happen, but to be positive in general. And I think for DeSantis, whether you like him or you don't, you disagree with it, whatever, regardless, I think it's important he did that. And if you can play, which the way big majority of the state can play high school football at this moment, moving forward, they're getting good signs. Then if we can open our beaches and do all this other stuff and are opening up as a city, we can play high school football. People can say, well, the contact and things like this. Listen, these players, I'm not saying that they're young, they can fight this off. I'm not getting into that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to act like one. What I am saying is these guys are out and about already. Okay, we talk about Kirby Smart came on and said these college players are way safer here than they are going out in their own communities. So it's important for these coaches, and we can test, we can do whatever if we need to. I don't know the whole guidelines on this. What I am saying is, with everything we've got right now, maybe there's a couple places that can't. Who knows? But it's positive signs. And for our area here, and Santa Rosa, Escambia, Okaloosa, even over with Mobile, and they've had some problems and stuff, but we can play football right now. That's the signs we're getting. If we can, looks like we're going to play college football. Now the big thing in college football is, are we going to have fans? We're talking about having fans to start the season is a pretty good possibility. Now, not full stadiums, maybe some places, but like Arkansas, the Arkansas governor came on Feinbaum and was talking about, look, we never shut down.
Yeah.
We just didn't really have any breakouts or anything. So different places,
yeah, you're right.
I think it's great news, especially for our area, because once again, we have so many athletes, and this is not just good news for football. It's good news for volleyball, basketball, everything moving forward. So
and that's what honestly, the NCAA, I've always talked about it. To me, it needs to be autonomy on whether or not the games are played. Outside of that, it should be up to the city. It should be up to that university. It should be up to the government officials in that city. to decide things what are best in every situation across the board. Meaning if Carson Wentz and the Bison, those people want to go out there and watch football that hasn't been shut down at all in North Dakota or in South Dakota with the Jackrabbits, then they should be able to have full capacity. Be careful if you're, as always, tell the people 80 plus, this kind of stuff, be careful like it always. Not too many 90 plus people are out riding right now. That would be probably bad for your health anyway and very dangerous with people getting run over and ransacked in the street. But at the same time, that's probably why you're not going to see a lot of people on the streets go into the hospitals, because we're pretty aware at this point that if you're under the age of 40 and you don't have pre-existing health conditions, you're pretty much going to be okay outside of you can get sick and have a cold, but that's pretty much been clear. Don't go, yes, there's one or two cases like you can say defenses win championships, which is not true today in the NFL, but you can go back if you want to Trent Dilfer and say that the Baltimore Ravens did it with Trent Dilfer at quarterback, and people go, well, you're right, but that's not the norm. So let's stop using that one example from 20 years ago as defenses win championships when Patrick Mahomes literally had the 28th ranked defense last year and had to come back from down 24-10 in the second half. Don't use cliches just to throw them out there if you're not going to do the research. But with this, in every city might be different, where people that, Ohio State talked about 20,000, that could be their model. But if the Swamp in Gainesville wants to open it up for the 100,000 plus, they should be able to have that right, as long as they've talked it over, and that was the university's idea. So to me, whatever you do with your campus is up to you, but we have to have autonomy that the Power Five, that the mid-majors, that the teams are going to play for financial reasons, for TV rights, which pay for them to keep these teams open. Because we've talked about it before, but one of the big things is right now, 60% of teams in college football cannot afford not to have sports in 2020. If they don't have the college football season, 60% of teams right now in college football do not have a reserve where they would be able to play going forward or what their future is going to be. Only 40% of college football or universities have enough reserve. We know the big hitters, the ones that have commercials about them. Cops saying roll tide, those kind of things. Those people will be okay, even though they'll take a hit. The other 60% might be lost. And we need to understand there's not a perfect answer to any of this. There's not a perfect answer to any of this. And yesterday's line that I'll continue even after this is all done pretty much proved that when a friend of mine said, if you open a bar right now, you can go to jail. However, you can run and smash things through and burn my bar down, and for the most part, that's okay. There is either law or there isn't. And in America right now, I can't open a business, but you can burn it down, and that is all right. That's where we're at right now. That's currently where we're at in this country. So for me to say there's perfect answers, who am I talking to? Because the government officials we've elected and people in place in every aspect, not just from whoever, but it's not just them. It's our citizens. It's people, humans, have no clue what's happening day by day.
Are you saying that right now that if Ohio State can only hold 20,000, and if Florida can open up at 100,000, that's how it is right now?
No, I'm talking about this is all relevant to September.
Okay, because I was curious because I was saying if Florida can do whatever they want, if Florida wants to open up and have a hold 100,000 right now, if they're cleared to do that, they can.
Yes.
Where if only Ohio State can hold 20,000, it's one of those sorry,
but it's got to have to be relevant. What I'm saying is all of that should be ancillary to the point that whether you can hold 100,000, 0, or 20,000, we have to all play football together or we don't. Meaning that if there are teams, if Rutgers and Michigan State and a bunch of other places said, we're not going to have a college football season, that's going to change all the proportional levels of how many teams are in each conference, how many teams get in. If you have 7 teams.
So if everybody can't play, we shouldn't play.
No,
much.
I am not for that. But what I'm saying, the best for college football, that at this point, it's clear to me that we can play college football. Meaning, by putting 22 players or 100 people out on a football field, at the worst case without fans on a Saturday or Sunday, we can definitely do that from what I've seen around in any place at this point. Even New York and stuff is opening up here soon. There are a lot of places everywhere in this country we can play football. I'm telling you, we can play football, what I've seen out there. Not too many 95-year-old running backs like Chris Winkie at quarterback. But what we can do is the decisions on how many people are allowed in the stands and what, as they will be, should be governed by that university in that city. But I believe that no matter what, that should be second tier to all of these teams that we see, the 30 teams that we have in Division I, in, as we say now, FBS. They all have to be on board, and unless it's one or two that can drop out, that would not ruin the model in the system. You see what I'm saying, though?
I do, but I disagree with if there's teams that don't want to do it. We could do this with 40 teams if we really want to break it down. I understand you're saying it's best. What's best is that we have stadiums full of people.
Yes.
What's best is that everything goes on as normal. But if you have a couple teams that, like you're talking about Rutgers or even Syracuse and the ACC, whatever, they can't do it, you just move on. It's one thing. I think Dan Mullen said it perfect in his interview when he was asked about this. And he said the one thing that we're going to have to accept this year is to be flexible. Because what happens last minute if a team can't do it? What happens last minute if they have an outbreak or something happens and they can't do it no more? They got to shut their season down. We don't know. The big thing is, how are people going to react to having positive cases? Marshall University already has 2 right now, and they're isolating them. They're showing people, and everybody said, every single eye in college football is going to be on Marshall University right now on what they do with their players and how they handle it and come back from it. But I think, once again, it's important. Dan Mullen, the flexibility is going to be the word this year, because we don't know what's going to happen with this. We may not have a problem. We may have another second outbreak where everything goes to heck again. How is everybody going to react to that? But if there are some teams that can't play and there are teams that can play, we move on with those teams that can play.
We will, but think about and when I say Rutgers, I'm talking about, sorry, Rutgers, earmuffs, but that's the team that we probably could go without in Power 5 anyway. They've been terrible. Greg Schiano is like, hey, I just got paid, man. Like, get out of here. But if it comes down to, let's go with like a USC or something like that. If USC, which they will, but if USC said no, think about the chain reaction if you had one of those neutral site big games to start the season. Now you're going to have to figure out, okay, well, who am I supposed to play? Now those other teams are all taken up, so they don't have any availability. So now you have to go out there and you have to find like a Division II team to play. And now you've lost on a $500 million contract with ESPN for some of these games for a 4-year term that you just had to give up because one team decided not to. You see what I'm saying is, to me,
but giving up one game to giving up a season is completely different.
But that's one. Imagine if you had 3 of those teams. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about 1 or 2. I'm talking about if out of the 130 teams, 40 decided not to. That's going to screwball a ton of moving pieces in the schedules all over. And it's going to it's going to cause a ton of stuff to be moved.
We talked about this. If Michigan plays 9 games this year, they can only play 9 games, and they go 9-0, and Alabama goes 12-1. Is Michigan looked upon? How does that work when you're talking about the committee? That's, once again, when we're talking with all these sports, we're talking about with the NBA. And look, I'm not disagreeing. I don't like expanding playoffs either. But this year, I throw everything like that out the door, out the window, whatever, because it's going to be different. We're going to have to understand that the normal is not going to be normal. So if there are teams, I understand they're going to lose money, whatever. But okay, you can either lose money and not play and lose everything. Or if you only get to play 6 or 7 games this year, it doesn't matter. You have to accept that it's not going to be the same.
I think, though, that this is the thing, though, right now, is there are places, though. What I'm advocating for is that I believe that football can be played across America coming up in September or in August, or start getting things rolling in July from what I've seen. And I haven't lived everywhere. I know it's worse in a lot of other areas. But what we're seeing around the country right now, and people not really caring about social distancing that much, but they still do. We still wear masks, respect people. But to tell me or anybody right now that we can't get 50 to 60 young, in good shape athletes on a football field and have a football season after everything we've seen at this point, right today even, and this is June 2nd, but coming up in September, that we couldn't make that happen unless there's another, like I said, this is in today's world, not in if another wave comes and we get sick and everything. I'm on board with health first. I want nobody to get hurt out of this. If you're an older coach, press box. Put them in a press box with a headset. We can do these things. We can social distance. The guy at Publix today was real old with the walker, and everybody backed up. There were 3 people about my age, and we all backed up and gave him his space. Now, he shouldn't have been out. He wasn't even wearing a mask. He probably shouldn't have been out there. But we all the respect of the mindset was give this guy his space. The 3 35-year-olds weren't worried at all. One guy had like a bunch of that peach natty ice thing going on. But all of us were sitting there saying, okay, let's give respect to if we're asymptomatic, and I'm not, I've been tested. But if we were, we don't want to get that guy sick. Have respect out if the older coach, if you have a Bill Snyder, then bring him in there and let him set up in the booth and coach the game. If those are the things holding us back right now, that's what I'm saying is I believe that there is nothing saying we can't have football. However, there are going to be universities that are getting pressured and other reasons to not play at all because just like that pandemic insurance, they can take out money, like a lot of these owners and all, on insurance, where if they don't play a season, then they can take that insurance policy for their school. If they do play a season but only very few fans show up, then they're going to take that hit financially and they're still going to play. You see what I'm saying? There are a lot of people there. There will be people that make decisions.
I disagree.
I'm
going to explain. Okay, Chad, you're Michigan, you're Ohio State, you're USC, you're whoever the heck you want to be. You say you're not going to play football, what's the first thing that's going to happen?
But you're talking about big hitters. I'm talking the Eastern Michigans of the world.
Okay,
I'm talking,
regardless,
yeah.
Okay, so Eastern Michigan, what's going to happen? Your players are gone. They're leaving.
Yeah, well,
they're all transferring out, and the NCAA is going to allow them to be eligible wherever the heck they go immediately. Then what do you do with your program? What do you got to recruit 80 more guys, 100 guys? Because if you're not playing,
they might close their program.
That's what I'm saying. So you take
UAB did.
Hold on, but that's
UAB's in the heart of college football.
But that's what I'm saying. You're proving my point in this. You shut your football program down, and now nothing. Now that shuts your revenue for all these other sports. Where even though you weren't making a ton of money, let's be honest, now your baseball program's gone. Now your volleyball program's gone because that was the money that you generated from the football programs from Eastern Michigan going and playing these big universities sometimes and getting their eyes beat out. That's the money they get to support all these other programs. That's where I disagree with that. That's because you cannot afford to lose your football programs. You can afford to shut down your baseball programs for a couple years, softball, whatever it may be.
Why would UAB do it? Why? But that's the thing is UAB did it because they were losing revenue on the cost of operations.
So but look at UAB overall. Look at the way they were run. Dig deep into that whole program. There was a lot of sketchy stuff going on with UAB. I'm not saying
people are driving right by in Birmingham to go to Tuscaloosa for the games. A lot of them, if you live there. I mean, I know. What I'm saying is there are board members in that room that thought green, not the UAB colors of the green with the Blazers, but thought green and made a decision to shut down football in an area of the country that is the number one market for college football. Birmingham is. It's the number one market. In their own backyard, they shut down a football program because they were losing revenue. I think there are some people, like I said, this is from you two college football type minds. But there will be people around the country that would look at the hit they would take this year if there wasn't enough fans and other things because they're already losing revenue. Like the schools, like I said, the Eastern Michigans, teams like a possible, let's say, a Reno, Nevada, a UNLV, and say, you know what? We're not going to have football. We're done. And even if those players transferred, they're going to say, yeah, we're shutting down football for a couple years. That would be a sad moment. That's what I'm saying. So we got to be careful. That's why the NCAA is going to have tough decisions to make personally because schools can do what they want with their programs. They govern themselves in that matter. You can't tell the NCAA can't tell them you have to continue to take a huge revenue hit and lose money and shut down your program. But there will be ones that I believe do. I do believe that there are ones that will look at the numbers and do that. It's just an opinion, but you see where we're going on both sides.
I understand, but that's where I'm looking at that. Football is. I understand the UAB, but the UAB was a weird situation with some stuff that was going on the inside that nobody wanted to talk about. That's where when you dig deep and find out the problems they were having already with where is this money going and why are we losing so much in a time, whatever. When you talk about a profitable school, how expensive it is to go to that school as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are involved that are very sketchy on the inside of that. And look, just to bring it up, I know that we were just talking about a team, but Eastern Michigan has 2 games where they're going to get paid.
Some Eastern Michigan fan is like, what did I do to deserve all this?
They go to Kentucky, and they also go to Missouri for some pretty good paydays, which is more to my point of what I'm talking about. Even if you do lose some money there, when you're talking about we won't have as much fans at our home games, then you're making up so much money by playing these other teams.
Like Miami of Ohio, another example of a team like that. We're talking a lot of MAC here because you've seen the empty crowds. But even the empty, quote, crowds, average Miami, Ohio Red Hawk season attendance last year was 11,000. That's still enough revenue at, I don't know if they're giving away the tickets, but somebody's paying
Probably
$30, $40. Let's say $30 a pop for some of those. Just, you're at a football game. I know I'm highballing for Miami, Ohio here, but Portland also had a basketball game for $1 million, it seemed. But let's say $20 even. That's still a lot of money after what they're going to spend in concessions and snacks. You're talking about the possibility of losing hundreds of thousands of dollars that are adding up millions over the season if those fans decide not to come, those few fans that did. That's the kind of revenue where they'll look at and say, we can't take a $2.5 million hit this year. We're just going to close it down. That's my idea is that the 10,000, it's already small levels of people showing up, but they're already taking a hit at that level with only 11,000. If they get 500 people, it's going to be so devastating that the money makers, because they don't have those contracts with ESPN to be a top-tier game. They're not even on the U unless they play a team like Ohio State, which paid them to be there. That's the kind of stuff that is going to be thought of. And I don't have all the answers to that, but it will be brought up. It's been brought up. We've seen programs shut down on their own and not because of a violation. We will talk more about this when we come back. Let's take a break. We're coming back for more. It's a Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Hey, guys. I know there's a lot going on right now in the world, and we're all shopping online. I just saw that AT&T started doing 2 really helpful things for those who want to buy a new phone or device online. They're offering fast, free, no-contact delivery, and curbside pickup so that online shopping is as simple and safe as possible. On top of that, they have a flexible return policy so you can shop at ease. You can visit att.com to learn how to shop online from the safety of your home 24/7. Subject to change, restrictions apply.
Slowly but surely, we are returning to restaurants, beaches, our places of worship, returning to business. As your business opens the doors and adjusts to new ways, recruiting may be a need for you. Do you have a business that needs to hire? Let News Radio 92.3 AM 1620, Cat Country 98.7, ESPN Pensacola, and Playlist 94.5 help spread the word. You'll reach thousands of potential customers and possible employees every hour of every day, so let us tell your story and help you get back to business. Email Jeff at catcountry987.com, and to all local businesses, welcome back.
For 30 years, Thomas Home Corporation has proudly helped families build their ultimate dream home. If you're looking to customize your home, we are currently building throughout Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties, and we can either build your home in one of our subdivisions or even on your own lot. Our team works with you to guide you through each step and decision in the process. Builder of the 2019 American Dream Home and Builder of the Year, Thomas Homes Corporation has built quality homes at an affordable price since 1990. Begin the process today and become one of our proud homeowners at thomashomescorp.com.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh! Dilly Dilly! Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm just a step away, I'm just a breath away, losing my faith today. Falling off the edge today. I am just a man, not superhuman. I'm not superhuman. Someone save me from the haze. It's just another war. Just another family torn. Just a step from the edge.
And welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Well, Zion must answer to Duke. He's probably like, bye, Felicia. And like, I'm not doing that. Judge is saying he needs to at this point. Florida judge, by the way. Florida State courts said they denied New Orleans Pelican rookie Zion Williamson's request to stay and into whether he's eligible under NCAA rules when he played one season at Duke in 2018 and 2019. At this point, he'll be required to answer all of the questions will show up with his representing Prime Sports Marketing right there, who is suing Williamson for $100 million for breaching their marketing agreement.
Yeah, you saw who was
It's a hefty load right there.
Saw his attorney, right? Lonzo Ball and LeVar Ball are going to be there. LeVar is technically his attorney, but Lonzo's there for support.
Jeez. That's not a bad tactic, to have LeVar Ball just talk real loud, and then everybody wants to leave the courtroom anyway.
Give him shoes.
Dismiss. This court's dismissed. Be like, what about $100 million? I don't know, but can this guy shut up? And then they just all leave.
We gotta go.
We gotta get out of here. I don't have time for this. Got families at home. Kids.
He sees him walk in with him, and he's like, "Case dismissed.
Get it out of here."
Sorry.
It's like South Park, the Wookiee from the Wookiee on Endor with Johnny Cochran. It doesn't make sense. How could this Wookiee talk? It doesn't make sense. And yep, that's the path. Take LeVar Ball. Get it out of here. Hall of Famer and guy that I remember coaching, was a big guy. He looked like one of those guys on the sidelines that if you played for him, you'd shut your mouth. Wes Unseld.
Yeah,
he was a great player. No, not at all. That's not where we're going here. But people that do remember Wes playing, 6'7", 265. He was like one of those he was pretty much the Anthony Mason type player, the big guy. He was better than that. But he was that big bruiser, that enforcer inside when he played back in the 60s and the 70s, but passed away at 74 today. And he was in our lifetime, too. I mean, he coached the Washington, not to championships, but a lot of people in Washington, D.C. said he was the rock of our family. Remember, he played for the Washington Bullets. He coached in Washington. And a guy that, won the regular season MVP award, was a 5-time All-Star. Him and Wilt Chamberlain are the only players in NBA history to win Rookie of the Year and MVP honors. Like, these guys, Pat Dye, who passed away, 3-time SEC Coach of the Year, was a staple of every Thursday with us here on the show. I'm not going to say we were best pals. This isn't Stephen A., but we knew each other. We talked off the air over 5 years, and that was something special to me. But Wes Unseld, when we throw these people out here, only person with Wilt Chamberlain to win Rookie of the Year and MVP. These are really good players and really good people that have passed away in the last couple days. And probably, if you said Pat Dye and Wes Unseld, they're not going to get the recognition that they deserve. But you start looking at these stats, and as sports broadcasters, what we can do is recognize that and let the common folks that aren't going to be Googling or talking about this know how good of individuals these people were. Because you made a lot of sacrifices in your life if you've won Rookie of the Year, MVP honors, and also coached 15 years in the NBA. That means you've put a lot of time and effort to make people happy that paid for your tickets, and you deserve to be recognized. Let's go ahead and take a break. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Whether you're building a new home or considering a renovation, choosing the right construction partner makes all the difference. At Lacoste Construction Group, they are a local family-owned business, and they pride themselves on work ethic and true craftsmanship, specializing in both new construction and renovations for both commercial and residential projects. Lacoste Construction Group is with you every step from consulting and budgeting to design and engineering. Get started turning your home or business into the space of your dreams today at LacosteConstructionGroup.com.
Well, I finally improved my credit score.
What? The band is about to be discovered. Rock gods don't need to worry about credit scores. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, make ridiculous on-tour requests, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
Yeah, I'm not banking my retirement on a band that's never left your garage.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
I'm Mina Kimes, host of ESPN Daily. Each morning, we bring you a deep dive into a single story from one of ESPN's hundreds of reporters. It's the best of ESPN Daily. ESPN Daily is presented by Marathon. Now, more than ever, we have to look out for each other and count on each other. Marathon wants you to know that you can count on them for high-quality, top-tier gas. Wherever you need to go, the people at Marathon are behind you all the way. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby.
coverage, visit statefarm.com.
We're here to tell you about Boost Mobile's new upgraded network.
That's right. Stronger signal, faster speeds, and more coverage.
So now you can get everything you want faster, like Pitbull's music.
No, the new upgraded network means you can download music faster than ever before. It doesn't mean that it will make Pitbull songs faster.
Oh, so this isn't the song.
No, this is the song.
Well, this is embarrassing.
Step up with Boost Mobile's new upgraded network. Stronger signal, faster speeds, more coverage than before. Switch and get 4 unlimited lines for $25 per line per month and 4 free LG K51 phones. Access to upgraded network requires compatible device. New customers only. 4-line offer requires at least 1 port and activation from eligible carrier. Free phone limited to 1 per line while supplies last. Customers using more than 35 gigabytes of data during billing cycle may be deprioritized during times of congestion. Offers and coverage not available everywhere. Additional terms and restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com or retailer for full details.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brillante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
Credit a great performance by Garoppolo. And I love the way he throws the football. He's got all the things going for him.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM.
Hey, check it to 10.
So I know you wanted to bring up Chris Davis's kick six. You were just saying you wanted to throw that out there when we came back.
Yeah.
Let's just bring it up. Not like we had a path to go down with it, but just wanted to throw it out. You knew a couple Bama fans who were listening right now, and you wanted to send that heartfelt speech out to everybody.
I want to break down Nickel State.
Nickel
being
State,
14th
right?
in the FCS
As long as it's not
rankings.
Nickelback, we're good.
I've got to go get the Athlon. The Athlon came out.
It
Brent
did.
Baird said
Brent Baird,
yesterday it's out. I want to go get it now.
He's poaching, though, but he used to work for Lindy's, and now he took his own, so he's out there giving advertisements for Athlon.
How dare him. As long as I get one, I don't care.
Him, Lynn Scarborough, we used to talk, those guys. But the magazines are awesome. You go straight to
the
the back.
websites and their breakdowns and everything. Man, they're awesome. They're so good.
Remember before the internet when?
What's that?
You go back to the back.
There was a time before the internet?
Cheerleading pages.
Remember, I'm almost 30, okay? I'm a young cat.
That's right, you are.
I don't know.
Almost 30. Still in your 20s. Milk it while you can.
I'm trying.
It's
Trust
cool.
me. My body's starting to let me know. It's sad that I start to feel this way. I can't imagine how some people feel.
Are you even a millennial? We're coming back for more Sports Drive.
Maybe.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, Sports Call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, well, the Doosan Bears. Some big home runs. NC Dino's looking good, too. Who's staying up till 4:30? That's what we got.
Has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. today's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Both been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Chad Brilliante on the other side of the glass. Literally, got the plexiglass in here. Is
touch that. I don't
JP,
want this to fall.
I know.
Lord knows what's in this room.
At least I can't throw. You notice we don't throw anything at each other anymore? Like these swords and things like that coming around the Matrix style on there.
Grow up, Chad.
That's not happening. Texans. How about them Texans? Well, the Houston Texans have hired you were talking about this earlier, and I did see something about it, but you actually went into the depths of reading the article. I have now looked at it, and there's not too much to it. But outside of that, this is the first thing he needs to do, because the Texans have hired Curtis Goodwin as a performance data scientist.
And Kevin Clark. Forget about him.
Don't forget about that.
Data and application
Former Fort
engineer.
Worth Boswell High School mathematics department right there, boy. That if it doesn't say Fort Worth Boswell High School mathematics department on it, I don't buy it. Because that's where that's
he was an assistant basketball coach too.
These are the guys. These are the guys that do everything. Like, I know Jeff Bezos gets a lot of credit for Amazon, but
That's Curtis
Boswell
Goodwin.
High School's mathematics department.
To be fair, I will say
this is Curtis Goodwin here.
Kevin Clark actually is a former software engineer for Intel. So, I mean, he does have a pretty good background. You're talking about being one of these analytics
These look like
people.
the made-up names of players like in MLB The Show when Curtis Goodwin and Kevin Clark, that you're like, they sound so close.
News, though?
They sound so close to being real names of players, but they're just off by a few.
But how did this make news, even in this time?
It should have been the news, though. If you have data scientists working with you for the Texans, how wasn't the first mathematical equation get Bill O'Brien out of the actual
that
facility?
Might be what it is.
We've put this into our Sigma. We've done our logarithms here, and co-signed it.
We figured out why we did not go far last year in the past few years. Yes,
they're sitting there with the McNair family and with Bill O'Brien. He goes, "So what do you got for us? You? You need to get out."
Yeah, it's you.
Okay, all right. You got to leave.
After all our analytics, we found out that you, sir, are the problem.
We've got one right here. 24-0 lead in the second quarter times dog crap equals Bill O'Brien. Okay, you're out. You're out, guys. Get his bags. That's not a real equation, is it? Do you have to question that, sir? It sounds like
Intel.
he goes, is that a real equation, guys? Be like, well, based on you asking that question is one of the reasons we're telling you to pack your things.
Excuse me, I was chair of the mathematics department. Don't question me.
Bill O'Brien could be a little salty, lift the pats, but he's not here's the thing. Bill O'Brien is not a hideous coach.
No.
Let me put that. There are coaches that will run people and teams into the ground. Like what Willie Taggart did. For FAU fans to have to see his face, and he's a good recruiter. College is a little different because of recruiting. But Willie Taggart, to see Willie Taggart get another job immediately should give people like chills or make people very happy because he's out of town in Tallahassee. But for Houston, in this situation, Bill O'Brien's been consistent with getting teams pretty close. It's that they're so close, and that every time they get a player or an athlete that you think is going to help them, adios. He's had some bad runs with J.J. Watt's injuries, but think at one point you started to feeling the flow, happy it's circular. You started seeing Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller. You'd brought in Lamar Miller, who was starting to have a decent season. Lamar. Then you had a guy like what you saw in Jadeveon Clowney and Merciless. And then Brian Cushings was there. And you had Vince Wilfork was brought in. And you had guys that you went into the draft and got J.J. Watt. You were building what seemed to be a powerhouse contender. Wasn't more than, 3 or 4 years ago that just the way we talk about San Francisco and the 49ers, Houston, by far on paper, had that best defense. I mean, it was nasty. Their secondary had a couple kinks, but Jonathan Joseph, some of those guys back there, this defense, it was the real deal. And now it feel like you look through that, where's JJ? Well, he's hurt again. Okay, what about Jadeveon? No, he's long gone. What about Cushings? No, he's done. You start going through all this stuff, and it looks completely different. And a lot of that has to do with playing with the coach. A lot of that has to do with when you have a chance to win now, you have to take that next step, and they never could. But then there's things. Grady Little led the Boston Red Sox to one of the best seasons they've had in over 40 years, but he didn't pull Pedro Martinez when you had a bullpen sitting there with an ERA that hadn't allowed of 0.00 during the playoffs over that run.
That's all right.
Not bad. And I know Pedro was a legend, but you didn't go ahead and do that. Think about it. And what happened was, the next thing you know, you get fired. Grady Little had one of the best seasons ever, and he got fired that year. Because if you're that close, the expectations are to be able to take that next step and jump. And if you're not doing it, you're going to be out of a job. Mike McCarthy. Aaron Rodgers, discount double checking. Well, the fans in Green Bay that literally own the team, the only team that's publicly owned, they had enough of watching 9-7, 10-6, and missing out on a championship because you had Aaron Blank and Rodgers. If you have guys that everybody else looks at as huge commodities, which Houston had like 10 of them, you shouldn't be going 9-7, 10-6, and getting beat first round. But it was a continuous spiral with Bill O'Brien. He's still there. It's not like he's the guy out of the door, but everybody else can see it. Most fans can see that he's not the kind of coach that you'd want at the big moment. So, to me, it's not Bill O'Brien, you're a bum. It's Bill O'Brien, you have more capabilities with your team, and you're not getting the most out of them. Even the DeAndre Hopkins trade makes no sense. Makes no sense to get rid of a guy in his prime who could be, you can make the argument, is the best wide receiver in the NFL. I believe it's Michael Thomas, but you can make the argument that he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. You don't allow that guy to walk or push him out the door to walk. And that's what he did.
I think he's doing a great job. Hope he stays there.
As a Titans fan, you love him. I loved when Rex Ryan was in New York. Loved it.
Genius.
Love seeing Rex Ryan.
Give him more. I think that, listen, with Bill O'Brien, he's the coach. He's one of the GM. Look, let him be the owner. Let him do everything. Give him all the power. Yes. Let's see what happens to this team.
I don't think the McNair
give him the keys. Give him the entire keys, entire set. Not just that little small ring of keys you just toss over there in case you're out that day. No, give him the entire ring. Let's let him go run that franchise. Let's do it.
Well, at this point, the Cubs owner disputes idea that MLB teams hoard cash. Look, first off, and this is Tom Ricketts, seems like a pretty good owner. He pushed back on the perception that Major League Baseball teams are cash cows. I mean, that's a very broad term that can be like, they're all billionaires, so I guess for most people that is cash cows. That's what you want to look at it.
You also have to run billion-dollar franchises.
Exactly, and there's a lot of pressure. And they also got to that point because they did something. Very few families in this country are named like the Vanderbilts or the Biltmores, or we know that Rockefellers were like, my great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaddy had a lot of people, I was about to say built it with his own hands, had thousands of people build this building with his name on it with their bare hands. Some people live that life in the Hamptons. Very few, though. A lot of these owners, they work for it. Some got lucky with an app, like Mark Cuban, which he also worked his tail off, but got a break at the right time. And there's other people that have had that money, like the Davises and the Hallises of the world of the NFL, who were there on day one, who their families helped create the NFL, and they had their hands in the cookie jars and got passed along with these billion-dollar families, but Mark Davis can't afford a haircut. Now, Tom Ricketts seems like one of the good owners, and to have the Cubs as a team, that's a huge ownership. But he said most baseball owners don't take money out of their team. They raise all the revenue they can from tickets and media rights, and they take out their expenses, and they give all their money left to their GM to spend. I don't know if every team does that. That's Derek Jeter literally took every big contract, threw it into a paper shredder, and then said adios to back-to-back MVPs, and then the Marlins have a cool fish tank behind home plate. But outside of that, whatever that funky thing is out in the center field that goes up when they do actually hit a home run, the Clevelander thing. Outside of that, 50 games below 500. They had Giancarlo Stanton and Christian Yelich and Marcell Ozuna and D. Gordon and the sad death of Jose Fernandez. That was tragic.
Oh, he was
he was so good. He had the best stuff, and he was a nice guy too. But all of that, they had a team ready to win, and now like people are wearing Martin Prado jerseys.
Whatever happened to that guy?
He was good for the Braves in the '80s. I mean, it's been. That's what we're at. Do you agree or disagree, though, that the owners, if we don't have a baseball season, if we don't right now, and we're not going to be in every room, but Jeff Passan will be working his tail off, and we'll hear about these stories. But do you believe if we don't have a baseball season, the owners or the players, if you had to pick today, who would be more to blame when this story is written? If we don't. I expect to have a season. Owners or players if we don't.
The players will be probably more criticized. Because it comes down to they could have accepted, to make money, whatever. I can see it being split, but I think the players will have a little more blame on this, regardless of whether that's true or not. Listen, for me on the outside looking in, I know we've had Greg Litton come on and talk about this. It's hard for me to say that professional players are overpaid because I have no idea. So for me to sit here and be like, like what Bryce Harper? Now, I will say Bryce Harper is overpaid. I understand the branding and the butts he puts in the seats and things like that. But it's insane for what he is when there's other guys out there that bust their tail that don't get near the contract that he does. But I understand. There's a lot of things that go involved. It's a business. But when this is all said and done, I really feel, Glavine came out and said no matter what happens here, the players will always be looked upon a little bit differently. I think that the players will be the ones that look more at fault. Now, is that true? I don't know. I don't know in all these deals they're doing behind closed doors and stuff, prorated salaries. Look, I think the 50 to 60 game deal, here's where that puts things in perspective. The players basically say, all right, look, we want our prorated salary to the games that we play. Don't cut any more off. MLB, if this proposal that they're putting together is true, it's almost like, all right, big boy, you said you wanted a prorated salary? Here's 50 games. There you go. Go get you. You're only getting paid for 50 games. That's it. And we're going to move on, which is a tremendous drop-off from, of course, even getting half of your prorated salary. Now you take that to about a third. So we'll see. That they wanted full prorated salaries? Seems the MLB is going to offer them that. I don't know. If they turn that down, then I think it's more on the players right now. I really do. The players, look, let's not kid ourselves. The 114-game season they proposed, they knew was a laughing stock too. Well, there's no way we could play 114 games in that time period.
No.
For one, you're putting yourself as a player at risk because of the continuous amount of doubleheaders and stuff you would have to play. Look, these MLB franchises, they get maybe 2 days off a week. Let's just call it what it is. 114 games that time period was not going to happen. I actually like the 50-game ordeal. 50 games, you know what, you hit the ground running. That means from day one, every single inning matters if you want to make it to the playoffs. It would be like wildfire out there. You would see teams do things we've never seen before in the game of baseball when it comes to making decisions because you may not have to worry about that 3-game series coming up or whatever. You know what? We're not going to save this guy. You would see almost like a playoff atmosphere from the beginning from these teams. And to me, that'd be awesome. But when you're talking about this, if they're giving 50 games and they're giving their prorated salary to those 50 games, that's technically what the players wanted was their prorated salary. So ball's in their court. That's where I think if they turn that down, then it's more along the lines of, wait, you wanted your prorated salary. It's not as big as you want because we're not going to play that many games. So we'll see.
As a country in general, we don't like to see millionaires arguing with billionaires. We all would love to have that story. If, like, you went home to the family and inside your house it was a millionaire arguing with a billionaire, we'd like that. But we don't like to see other people doing it unless it's, like, paid for in a reality TV show. Somehow people do that with, like, Kylie Jenner and her brand of clothing and Kanye West. But if you talk about sports, nobody is going to want to see it this year. Like other years, we already don't like it. But everything with, I mean, I still haven't got my stimulus check. We're sitting here now on June 2nd. But if somebody can help, if you're out there, but at this point, I'd like my money. But J.G. Wentworth has a commercial, but you have to like pay that back in loans. Like this is actually the first time in the history of our lifetime.
Cash down.
Exactly, but then that's like 90% interest rates, and it's not really. It's just a loan. But this is actually the first time where that's the money we're supposed to get, and it might come back to us on tax, whatever, but don't see it. Now, on top of it, we just need to understand that people are going to be arguing. Nobody on the surface wants to see if they decide baseball can finally be played, which it can be. Baseball can be played. Korean baseball is showing us that it can be played. And people are not going to make the season happen because of politics in numbers when it comes to money. When there is enough data to show that the owners are talking about giving them 81 game type money, that kind of stuff. Like if we have the evidence that these people were offered, if you make $32 million, you're going to make $16 million this year, and then you'll be back to 32 the next season, and they pass on that, it's going to be a you know what storm coming our way. Already with what's happening outside and things. Baseball, we need something. We need one major sport to make a decision and to stick with it and to have a plan in place. So for our job, we can come in and talk about it like, hey, not the NBA is proposing for the 17,000th time that we're going to play in Orlando on June 31st, but papers are signed, man. We're ready to go. 22 teams, playoff, bam, it's going to happen. Or Major League Baseball, look, we're going to make this happen. All this others is just a lot of people like us that actually, they have to get paid to write in one department, and they're trying to find stuff. They're trying to find stories. And very few people are like Jeff Passan and other people that actually have the actual information. So they're trying to give us. Because I've seen about 8,000 proposals. And I've also wiped my you-know-what with about 7,000 of them. So at this point, we need to understand. Toilet paper is expensive.
Bring the Blue Wahoos up to the Twins organization if the Twins major leaguers don't want to play. Let's bring up the minor leaguers. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Alex Kirillov's going.
But we have to play the games here in Pensacola.
Why not?
There we go.
Wide world, we can be the wide world of sports for the NBA right here. Well, if honestly, if you had to pick a stadium and an area, like
be stuck for a while,
we get to be on the beaches and go play here.
Just travel across the bridge, go to the beach after the game.
Knock out a couple seats at the Bay Center, remodel it.
Go downtown after a game, have a beer or so, just hang out.
Listen, you get a couple Southerners a week, we get that whole parking lot by the Bay Center into a baseball stadium with a little turf. It's a lot of field, a lot of area. Let's make it happen tomorrow.
PSC's got a nice stadium.
I've already ruined Greg Harris.
Just saying, UWF, we've got some stadiums they can play in.
Why not? Greg Harris had a surprise for us. And then
Big surprise.
Big surprise. If Greg's listening, I did not say anything about it. Tomorrow he'll be joining us, the owner of the Pensacola Ice Flyers.
I wonder what he's got to talk about.
I would not know. I would not. Coming back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, and Blab TV.
Welcome to Bo!
Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
Well, I finally improved my credit score. What? The band is about to be discovered. Rock gods don't need to worry about credit scores. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, make ridiculous on-tour requests, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
Yeah, I'm not banking my retirement on a band that's never left your garage.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawk Doug Baldwin.
They fake, the lob, wide open, touchdown, Doug Baldwin.
Bigger body that Wilson likes to throw to, big target. Here's Baldwin, smaller target, and he ducks in for the touchdown.
Hi, this is Doug Baldwin, and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
JP here. Everyone here at ESPN Pensacola wants to send a shout out to our first responders and healthcare workers at this time. We know it's tough, but we appreciate the work you put day in and day out. We also want to thank our essential workers out there for helping all of us continue to live our lives as normal as possible in this time. For our community, keep rocking it. We are going to get through this. Remember, we were named the #1 strong town in America. That wasn't by accident. We have seen so many people step up and do their part, and we thank all those people for their efforts. We will be stronger for this, and together, we will beat COVID-19.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk. The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante.
Some athletes don't want to be given... nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as it gets older, one of the most embarrassing things... My daughter's 3. I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Give me some verb, I ain't tripping now. You wanna ride in the 6, you wanna dine in the 6. But when I lean for the kiss, you said I'll probably send you some pics. And I'm like, hell nah, been waiting too long. Hell nah, I want that cruel love. Hell nah, been waiting too long. Hell nah, I want that cruel love. Body of mine, losing all my innocence.
And welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Well, we talked about the crazy things that happened in 2020 and in sports. Let's go through a couple of them now. This one's going to be hard to beat. This one was actually text in from one of our listeners. The punter for Northern Colorado. Did you hear about this story? We're going down a path.
No,
You're like,
I did not. I
did not wake
so.
up and look at this one. Northern Colorado. Rafael Mendoza was stabbed repeatedly in his kicking leg by a guy wearing a mask.
Yeah, Southern Colorado's punter stabbed him, yes. No, I don't know.
Well, you're actually on par. I know you were going down that path. It was discovered the man who stabbed him was Mitch Kozad, the backup punter.
The backup. Okay, I did hear about this. But yes. Okay, I did hear about that.
Just imagine
baby.
sleeping exactly.
Northern Colorado.
He's got quite the boot coming over there. Da, 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 ah!
How's that boot now,
Coach,
boy?
What happened to you? I was sleeping. Well, who's your roommate? Mitch? Did Mitch go out that night? I didn't see the door open. What's wrong with your leg? Mitch said he was eating ketchup with a knife last night.
There you go.
Okay, that versus the moment where they shut down the whole NBA season after Rudy Gobert and everybody standing there, not sure what happened during the Utah Jazz game.
Because I was watching that game, just sitting there like, what the heck is going on?
Everybody's standing there like, what, are we supposed to leave? Are we supposed to stay? I mean, is this serious?
And remember, the Pelicans were getting ready to play. I remember Alonzo Ball came out there, and everybody's off the court, and he's like, screw this, I'm going to shoot and get ready for the game. And the security was like,
you need to go.
Bro,
yeah,
you've got to go. And he's like, no, I'm good.
I'd rather get the corona. My dad's at home. LeVar's home.
Yes.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going crazies in sports all time against the corona. Let's continue here. Looking at it, Ed Ogeron winning Coach of the Year in 2020. Which, I mean, listen, LSU, go Tigers, and Ed might be. Listen, I know he's not, but he's in Destin right now, so keep it calm. But I'm very proud.
At this point of the day, I'm sure that he's not sure what's really going on.
That's fine. I'm not going to go down it. I hope he has better things to do. But
he better in Destin.
Ed winning Coach of the Year, and remember, this is I'm adding the story to it. Ed Ogeron wins Coach of the Year by going 15-0. Beating 7 top 10 teams and beating Nick Saban with his best QB in the history in Tuscaloosa. All of that happened this year with Ed Ogeron. Or going up against the 5th down in a Missouri-Colorado football game where they had an extra down and the team won because they forgot to stop it on 4th down. And they scored on 5th and won the football game.
I know it probably won't be the popular pick, but how do you allow that to happen? I've got to go 5th down. Not only was it that they gave you a 5th down, you won the football game on it. I know, but look, the LSU season was fantastic, unbelievable. Probably never ever see anything like that again. But once again, it's one of those things that how does it happen? I mean, how in the world does this happen?
2020 versus craziest things that have happened in sports history. All right, let's start off this time with craziest things in sports history, which is Robert Swift was a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Later, decided some bad demons took over, and in 3 years, he wasn't playing center, but he was at the door with 15 meth heads in his house with a grenade launcher as SWAT up in Seattle was at his house in the mountains saying, get out of the house. While the former 5th pick in the NBA draft from 3 years prior at 7 foot tall had his back against the door with a grenade launcher ready to shoot it through the windows at cops. Going up against 2020, drum roll please. Like, are we going to beat this? Going up against Tom Brady is not a Patriot. Well, listen, what is crazier to believe? That's the thing, is crazier to believe that happened.
I don't know. I mean, the Tom Brady thing is crazy, but he had a grenade launcher.
Well, okay, you think it's crazier that Tom Brady is not in a Patriots jersey when 2020 rolls around, or that, former
grenade launcher.
5th round pick. Okay,
I got a grenade launcher. All right. It's a grenade launcher. It's not just a gun. This is a grenade launcher. That's the if it's just a gun, whatever, like, I'll shoot you, whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you see that all the time. But he had a grenade launcher. That's impressive.
All right. Wade Boggs missed 3 weeks.
This is always good with Wade Boggs. He probably won.
He missed 3 weeks of the season with a sprained ankle. He probably had a couple, probably 57 that night.
Yep.
But Boggs missed 3 weeks of the season putting on cowboy boots and spraining his ankle, going out in the night. Going up against Dick Pound, can't get a grip on the Olympics, and we don't have the Olympics. No Olympics.
Wearing cowboy boots. I can tell you, I've done that.
It is crazier to believe that the Olympics got canceled and Dick Pound, or a man misses 3 weeks of a baseball season for trying to get cowboy boots on?
I'm gonna go with the Olympics. It's crazier to believe because I put on boots, cowboy boots.
They're hard to
before,
get on, yeah.
And I'm telling you, when you start to put your foot in there, and if you miss,
oh, yeah,
it hits
it
the side,
it hurts,
and you start to wobble, especially if you have the other one on, you're goner.
Well,
Forget about it.
especially after drinking 2 cases, probably more than likely. Just assuming a man who drank 57.
Watermelon schnapps. Forget about it.
Watermelon schnapps. I feel
That's
like forget about inviting that guy to the next party if he said that. I've had a bad day of watermelon schnapps. You know I've hit the snobs.
Look, I've gotten creative with the different things that you drink. You stay in quarantine for a while.
There's just one.
Get tired.
See, does it sound better if you say, man, I had a tough night of Rumplemans or a tough night of schnapps?
Rumplemans, you might as well just drink your mouthwash. That's what
it is. A
tastes
schnapps.
like.
It's peppermint schnapps.
I know, but it's just.
I don't know.
Rumpleman sounds like something that your children would go, oh, I know him.
We never have. I've never had that.
Yeah.
At events.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if anyone listening, not at events on the clock during work, and not in general. This was a hypothetical conversation.
This never happened.
Exactly. Looking at the battle of the crazies as we continue, 2020 versus all time. Well, this story goes on to say the most watched event in sports 3 weeks ago was KBO baseball by the most Americans for any sporting event. Korean baseball was America's number one. This was before NASCAR got going again, and even Bundesliga soccer. Korean baseball was the number one watched sporting event in the United States on ESPN. Or we're dating back as Adam Eaton missed a week of the season trying to open DVDs for his kids and cut his own wrist.
That's very believable.
That can happen. Those plastic
I've cut
wares
myself with those as well.
I have too. It's very tough. And if you try to get the knife and you don't get it at the exact spot, you're gone. Yeah,
you're a goner. No, I'm going to go with Korean baseball just because once again, those DVDs can be a pain in the you know what.
Okay, what if he battled Joel Zamaya, injuring his wrist and missing the season with carpal tunnel from Guitar Hero? The closer for the Tigers.
Ooh.
Was out for the year because of carpal tunnel from playing Guitar Hero.
I'm telling you, that's
a lot of chords.
Get
right
after
there.
it.
A lot of chords.
I think anybody that's played Guitar Hero you play for 30 minutes straight, you can't move. Your hands just stay closed.
That's why he should have been throwing baseballs with somebody as the closer making $15 million.
If I was the closer, I would not be playing Guitar Hero for 30 minutes straight.
Gus Frerotte breaking his neck or injuring his neck by smashing it against the pad after scoring a touchdown that Gus Frerotte actually scored. Going up against 2020, Jerry Krause on The Last Dance, admitting he wanted Jordan and Phil Jackson out.
All right, the Surratt thing.
This didn't really happen in 2020. We're just saying on The Last Dance.
Yeah.
We learned about it.
But Surratt, did he attack did he duck his head down into it?
Oh, yeah. Did you see that he bashed it into that and then went down?
Okay, so it was self-inflicted on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me that.
All right.
What do you think is going to happen?
I would have to go with
anybody
that would want Jordan.
I knew Krause just because of Space Jam. I knew how evil he was.
That's true. He wasn't good on Space Jam. J.R. Smith throwing kids, beating them up after breaking down his car, smashing 2 kids into his car that threw bricks through it. 2020 versus Craig Grayback, who burned his eyes on Icy Hot and then attempted to get back onto the field and ran in breaking his nose into a wall.
Give me that one. J.R. Smith was impressive.
He was actually pretty good. Grayback played for Twins in the, I want to say Blue Jays, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty good, pretty solid player. It's got to be an embarrassing moment right there. Burn your eyes with Icy Hot, which is bad enough, and then walking into a wall and breaking your nose.
Yep. Give me that.
That's
one.
a lot of pain.
Just
that takes over J.R. Smith smashing kids into a window. And it's accepted because those kids are the ones going to jail right now.
But they're breaking into his stuff.
That's right. They should be. Look, if I'm leaving the parking lot and in the name of George. Well, no, that's true. That's true. Let's just. That's true.
Other reasons.
Moving
not
on
because
here.
of this.
Moving on,
other
moving
reasons.
On. Exactly. Everybody love everybody. That's where I'm going. Moving on here to 2020. The crazies of 2020 versus all time. Looking at the Masters on a year Tiger Woods won being canceled. not having the Masters. I know you could insert about 8,000 at sporting events into this conversation. But the Masters itself, just watching that, a tradition like no any other. And off of your Tiger one, too. Tiger not being able to defend his crown in April at the Masters when all this was breaking, compared to Manti Te'o not having a real girlfriend.
What do you mean not a real girlfriend?
Lene Kukua.
She's real.
Is she really?
She is real.
Like
he has
puppeteer?
one now.
You also said that about a doll that was... Oh, never mind. Sorry. Sorry. Millie, you call? All right. Which one?
My best friend.
She was. You made her hang out all the time?
Manti Te'o. The whole story behind that was so odd. Like, what?
So is that a win for Notre Dame?
Yes.
Okay,
always.
there you go. Victory.
Real question is, she probably was real. What happened to her? Just saying.
It's all part of the conspiracy there. If we had Facebook at this time, we have enough people.
Has he got a wife
enough
now?
Conspiracies. There are enough things happening right now online that somebody could have given us those answers. Someone could have given us the answers to where Lene Kukua.
He has to have a girlfriend or something now,
Yeah,
right?
he has. Right. Oh, I'd hope. It's worth about. He's a decent-looking guy. He was
So I'm saying,
for
well,
a
he's a-
Heisman, went to Notre Dame and makes $20 million.
NFL
I would think.
linebacker?
Yeah, I was going to say. Pretty much, if he doesn't, there's something. That's even worse of a story. That's even harder to report. Like he can't. Manti Te'o can't get a girlfriend. If that.
Oh, here we go. Wait. Yep, here we go. Let's see. He has a real-life girlfriend.
Is it worth taking a picture?
I don't know.
Let me see if we're. Is it worth sharing with your friend? Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, it is. You were gonna just.
You're gonna keep that all to yourself?
Come on, man. What the heck? She's definitely real. We expect.
I mean,
well, parts.
I didn't see them in the same picture.
It's not. Wait,
So-
I mean, that's a multi-step question there. I mean, she's real. There's. I mean, that's what do you want to say here?
Well,
I'm just saying.
All right.
Is she a real person? Yes. Let's go to a break. Sports
Perfect
Drive,
time.
ESPN Pensacola.
Sorry, Manti.
Hey, no, not sorry for you after that at all.
Sergeant R.J. Anderson changed course from college student to Army soldier. Then tragedy struck.
My world turned upside down, being told I would never walk again. Now I'm excited about my life, thanks to Paralyzed Veterans of America. With their support and adaptive sports programs, my fire is lit again. For veterans with spinal cord injury or disease, PVA is our partner for life, assisting as our needs and challenges change. Thanks to PVA, my life is back on course.
To learn more, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Are you craving something unusual and exciting? A new adventure? Visit the Adventure Gurus at Adventure Motorsports of Northwest Florida. From commuters and daily drivers to long-haul tourers and off-road explorers, they'll match you to the perfect ride with a proven process that gets you on the road quickly, cost-effectively, and safely. Adventure Motorsports is an authorized dealer for BMW, Indian, Ducati, Suzuki motorcycles, as well as Polaris, Slingshot. Find your adventure at Adventure Motorsports of Northwest Florida. Visit AdventureMotorsportsNWF.com.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes are non-transferable, non-redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other contest prize. Prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning and must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
For your ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts, I'm JP. Hockey legend Gordie Howe suffers from cryophobia, the extreme fear of cold and ice. That's what I call facing your fears. The grass at Wimbledon was kept 2 inches long until 1949 when an English player was bitten by a snake. And a man in Mississippi was briefly imprisoned for sorcery in 1884 after throwing a curveball at a county fair. So that means Clayton Kershaw would have been a wizard, right? That's your ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts. I'm JP.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brillante here. Still tough. I'm seeing all the pictures with Coach Pat Dye and all. And sometimes it takes a little while to settle in and for things to kick in and other things. And yesterday, I've had a tough couple weeks here. And JP was by my side literally until about 2 a.m. at the emergency room. And just happy to be alive. And it isn't. I mean, I will be as long as I'm not stupid, which, once again, when the doctor said that, I had my checkup again today with a cardiologist or on Monday. And he's like, as long as you don't do these things wrong, you should be. And I'm like, so, and then he laughed. He goes, you seem like one of those guys, so I might have to repeat this next week. And I was like, yeah, that's probably the right thing. So if you don't do this, but it's like telling that dog, don't run into traffic for the ball, you're going to be okay.
Keep his focus on the ball.
Where did Frisky go? But that's it's been a crazy week in general, and everything in the news has obviously been a lot crazier. More important things going on right now around the world. But legendary Auburn coach Pat Dye passing away. You take things for granted, but for 5.5, 6 years, having a chance to talk to him every Thursday, that adds up. It's a lot. I mean, we probably had, based on the times, we probably had 300 conversations for 15 minutes or more where we talked, and probably 20 to 30 off the air as well. And, just one that, he knows that he lived the kind of life where you probably, if you knew you were going to go see Coach Pat Dye, you're probably going to have a nice couple drinks with him, have a good time out there, have some laughs. Wake up with a headache, but the next day you'd say, man, that was cool. That was cool. He's a legend right there. Almost, as Brent Baird said, one of the Mount Rushmores of college football when it comes to the South. No, he's not Tim Tebow or Steve Spurrier or Peyton Manning or Bo Jackson, who he recruited. He's not Bear Bryant. It's not Nick Saban. But he's in that class. Ones that you'll never forget when it comes to the names. And I know with you and your family, with the Auburn Tigers, he meant a lot more. And you spent a lot more time. I got to know him through personally getting a chance to interview him. But you got to know him as the coach he was. Because I didn't watch every Auburn Tiger game before I moved down here.
Yeah, it's of course, with her family. They're big-time Auburn fans. Her grandfather, of course, being the biggest. I mean, you don't bother him. It's so funny. He watches games on TV, but he always listens to the Auburn game on the radio while he watches it on TV. So much fun just because that's how, like you said, that's how I learned a lot about him. I knew who he was, but understanding the impact that he had on the university, it goes a lot more than just the football aspect of things, what he did for them and what he meant to the fan base as well. And, we talked about it on Talk Football today too. This is a guy that lived how he wanted to live. He was going to enjoy life, and that was one thing that was not going to stop him regardless. And listen, we probably know people like that, in our lifetime, and you can't fault them. You see those people out there that maybe aren't wearing masks or whatever, and some of them are like, listen, and you can look at them how you want to, but if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And, you respect the heck out of them because of what they've meant to our country. But for Pat Dye, he was one of those people. He's a guy that was going to have fun. He was going to enjoy himself, a very welcoming person as well. But meant so much to that Auburn fan base. I mean, that's what it is, and he was a true Auburn fan. I think that's not said enough. We hear a lot of coaches that, of course, are coach of these teams and things like this, and they kind of stay away. Once they're done, and they move away a little bit from the game, they move away from their team. Pat Dye was a guy that was right there on the action when he was done. I mean, from coaching to athletic director, he was in the stands, he was on the sidelines, he was always involved, and he loved it. He wasn't just there just to be seen. He wanted to be there genuinely, and that's why he orange and blue bled out of his heart. I mean, that's just who he was, and that's why I think he touched so many people, including, like I said, her grandfather. I learned so much about him from him, just to hear him talk about him, and it's unfortunate. It's a part of life that as you get older, you see more and more of this happen, but it's something. Don't ever take your life for granted. That's the one thing. If there's those around you, I know that I get on a soapbox on some of this stuff, but I've lost some really close family members in the past couple years here. If they mean something to you, whether they're family or they're friends or whatever, especially in a time like right now, just let them know you care. Just a simple like, hey, I love you, I appreciate you. It goes such a long way. A thank you goes such a long way in today's society.
850-623-1330 is the number to be part of the show. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll get to more of the stories today, including, when it comes to start time, what you need to know 100 days out. We are now at that century mark for the NFL season, 100 days out from the start. What will we do? We'll see.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Sergeant R.J. Anderson changed course from college student to Army soldier. Then tragedy struck.
My world turned upside down, being told I would never walk again. Now I'm excited about my life thanks to Paralyzed Veterans of America. With their support and adaptive sports programs, my fire is lit again. For veterans with spinal cord injury or disease, PVA is our partner for life, assisting as our needs and challenges change. Thanks to PVA, my life is back on course.
To learn more, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh! Dilly dilly! Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
From First Take to your radio.
Zion, 16 games. Okay, how many games do they have left? About 20, 22 games. All right, so he ain't gonna even reach 40 games. Damn it, I mean, this first year in the NBA, which he's getting paid for, it's like a college season that do. Give a damn about no back-to-back. You're 19 years old. 19 years old. All right, figure it out.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
The greatest name in sports radio is ESPN. Wherever you have Alexa, you can hear ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Just say,
Alexa, enable ESPN Pensacola 1330 skill.
Coming up on Sports Call this Saturday, Jason Fitz from First Take Your Take will be joining us on the program. And what is the future of baseball in 2020? It's complicated. We'll talk about it this Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
the teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Damn, I ain't be going psycho. Lil' mama bad like Michael. Can't really trust nobody with all this jewelry on you. My roof look like a no-show. Got diamonds by the bolo. Come with the Tony Homo for clowns and all the balls. Oh, I ain't be going psycho. Lil' mama bad like Michael. Can't really trust nobody with all this jewelry on you. My roof look like a no-show. Got diamonds by the bolo. Don't act like you my friend.
And welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Looking right now at some of the local news here. Pensacola Blue Wahoos will, at this point, keep all of their people employed and keeping the folks, the players, the athletes, receiving their stipend and benefits through August 31st. You said they're one of 5 teams that has made
I think
the decision.
6 now that the Nationals joined in so far. Some of these teams, listen, they're surprised that some of these other people now, a lot of minor leaguers have been let go.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
There's over, I think, 200. There was, I think the Mariners let go of like 50 or 60 on their own. And remember, baseball also is going through a whole, they wanted to downsize minor league systems anyway. Luckily, the Blue Wahoos were not a part of that conversation, obviously. But so no surprise it's happening. They're predicting that up to 1,000 minor leaguers can lose their jobs here. And that, who knows what that means?
Well,
I mean,
what you're saying also is some of these local leagues, when it comes to getting people out there at the softball fields, these people are going to have a chance to get some really good ringers. Is that what you're saying? I mean, listen, you let like 2,000 really good athletes go. Get a couple 25-year-olds stinging.
Going to the Korean Baseball League.
Is that where the KBO? Why not? It's only 3.
They go to play winter ball up in.
Well, that's if
Dominican.
the KBO ups theirs to allowing more than 3. They will. Yeah, they'll take some of those guys for sure.
Yeah, a lot of these guys will probably go play in the winter leagues.
That would get
in the Dominican.
Hoon Sin Moon is batting the 178 right now.
Yeah, but you can't get rid of a guy that has a name like that.
Well, then you're getting rid of half the league. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
Some of these guys, though, have you watched? I mean, the thing is, the games is some of it is better fundamentals, and then have you noticed though that every ball is like, you could watch a Major League Baseball game and everybody swings for the fence. And you could go a whole entire, you could go 2 hours without seeing a ground ball out because people are flying out to the wall or striking out or hitting home runs. Every single play pretty much is a ball on the ground in the KBO. They're all slap hits.
Yep.
It's
like watching college softball.
You get one of those really big guys who usually played over here in the Sangamon Bay or one of those guys, and he just crushes. These are real players, by the way. If somebody's like, this is very stereotypical, these names. These are real players we're looking up, so stop. You stop at home. Stop it. Just putting that out there as well. But these guys, there's like 1 or 2 of them that crush it. They're usually the guys from the States. But I love how our washed-up pitchers have become their celebrities. Like Dan Straley played for 8 teams in Major League Baseball. The beard. Straley was a nice guy, really nice guy. I remember when he was with the Marlins, we had an interview. But he was with the Reds. The A's is where he had his best years. I think he pitched for the Rangers. I know he was on the Giants. He was on a ton of teams. Pirates, I think. Just one of those guys like Edwin Jackson where you just assume they've been on every single team. But guys like him and Mike Wright now, their careers were done. Mike Wright couldn't hit the rotation in Baltimore for the Orioles. That's the start of a joke in the States. And he's now he's up for this pretty much, I don't know what the Cy Young's called over there. The KBO award for pitchers, but
well, Dae-Ho Lee is a guy that I'll tell you right now.
I remember him. I remember, yeah.
He's a billionaire. over there. Did you know that? $2.5 billion in Korea, South Korean won. I'm not sure how you call the money. I'm gonna look at what the equivalent is.
Yeah, let's. Gonna say.
Let's see. He's the highest paid player in KBO. Just want to throw that out there.
He played. I know you're talking about because he did play in the States, right?
I don't know. I just looked up the highest paid player.
Yes, he did. I know this guy. This guy played for the Mariners. This is the guy. This is the guy that I was watching the game the other night. Who his body is not the build of look. This guy with the curl. You remember this guy, right?
This is disappointing. $2.5 billion South Korean won equals $2 million.
Well, listen.
He's a billionaire there.
Look at
this.
If we posted this physique, this is their their highest paid guy.
If all of our players looked like that, we would have a lot more people like trying out for the big leagues. You could go around Pensacola right now, and there's a lot of people that look just like that. With that physique.
That is the physique of the fans at Blue Wahoo Stadium, most of them. And he's the highest paid guy right now.
I would go out there. Are you kidding me?
This guy can rock a ball, though. I do remember him play for Seattle, and he crushed one like 400 feet. But, yeah, I remember this guy was on the team last year. I remember watching this dude. I also watched the game the other night because he plays for the Lotte Giants, I think it is. And he hit a ball down the third baseline, and the guy dove for it. He picked it up, made like a ninja jump, got back on his feet, threw the ball in like 15 hops, and Dae-Ho Lee still was not even close to the bag at this point. But the guy was 5 feet off the bag. He picks up the ball, then turns around and jumps towards the bag for a play, and Dae-Ho Lee beat about a step, and everybody's applauding.
He's a man.
Like, he should have been at second. He should have been at second base at that point. And that was the but this guy can hit. There he is. I know exactly what you're talking about right there. That's the face. That's Dae-Ho Lee.
There you go.
It happen.
He's a man.
He's the Wade Boggs. All right. Maybe based on a little gut action there. Looking at some of the things that we talked about with the NBA season, it looks like their proposed rule, which one cash or smash at the NBA will come back before Major League Baseball? Because their proposed plan is to start July 31st, so pretty much gives Major League Baseball 8 weeks to get their act together.
MLB has to come back.
It has to come back before July 31st, yeah. Or we're just on to the next season.
You might as well at this point.
I mean, at this point,
you basically, you're talking about.
You make the summer like a.
I could see them.
What if they made the preseason like a summer tournament now, and then just went right back into October, or the swing of things for the next? Well,
you playing footsie with me under the table?
No, I'm not. I was trying to stretch out a little here.
What is that?
That is my foot, but it was me stretching out here. Daddy Longlegs.
It's been a long show,
here.
I know, but you know.
Well, listen. This is not.
Who knows?
Anybody that's followed us, we can get sidetracked, but these are not the typical shows here lately. So.
It's true.
No caffeine for 2 weeks, and at this point, Roger Goodell is not wearing ties now.
Get him out of here.
No, just joking. NFL camps must be at home. No joint practices. Is this something that's going to affect you trying to break into to Metairie for camps when it comes to the? You good with this?
I've got a lot more places that I got to break into now. It's gonna make it tough.
You and Dae-Ho Lee?
I don't think I'm breaking into any place with that guy. He's a billionaire.
Guy's not hiding anywhere. Again. It's all the time we have people.
Thank goodness.
I know.
For everybody's sake.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck. You're going to get Sarah Spain will be on talking very important stuff coming up.
Woo!
Woohoo! I'm going home.
Me too.
God bless.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Spain and Company on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Sarah Spain, Jordan Cornette, it's Spain and Company, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. And joining us now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, former Notre Dame head coach Muffet McGraw, who, as soon as she stepped down from her longtime post at the school, people started putting their hands together like the guy from The Simpsons. What's she going to do next? Where is she going to put that very powerful voice? Well, you were crying. Jordan was crying.
I was very disappointed.
After people were crying about it, then they started doing the Smithers of where